Yo, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Therapy Without a Degree. Chapter, I believe we are at chapter 216. Damn, yo, if we would have never took a break, yo, we would have been in like the 250s right now.
Yeah, we would have. I mean, it's good we took a break.
Nah, it was good we took a break. It was good. I don't mean to say it like, you know.
It's like, yeah, we
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that we gave these other podcasters out there some time to catch up.
I think so. I mean, I don't think anybody. Some people just didn't stop. They didn't stop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's like I was doing magazines one a month, and that shit was tough. And then I made it every other month. So it was just like eventually they'll find a nice spot, whether they want to slow down or maybe they're just like, I'm never slowing down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just to figure out like the how often they're gonna do it and shit.
Right. Some people, they just haven't found their stopping point.
Yeah.
Like everybody has a breaking point.
Imagine doing a pod every day. Could you do a pod every day?
Well, how long?
An hour.
An hour? I mean, yeah, I think I could do a pod every day. I won't be able to like physically be there. It feels like over the phone.
Yeah.
Like I could do that.
But I'm saying, because like there's like like Joe Rogan. Like Joe Rogan does one every day.
Well, you get in the bag though.
I mean, even if you got the bag, I'm not saying for free.
Right.
I'm just saying, you think you could do it?
Oh, absolutely. For an hour a day, I could talk for more than an hour a day.
He's like at the bags there.
What?
He's like,
I did that teaching and they weren't even paying me enough.
So what's your minimum? What would you do a pod 5 days a week for?
I never charge for like a pod.
I'm saying like if right now you got a job at like Power 105 or 97.1.
I'm talking salaries.
Word. 70?
Salary versus hourly. That's a whole other conversation.
100%.
70 grand for the year.
Would you do it?
Yeah, I would do it.
Well, it's not bad.
I'm only talking an hour a
day.
Yeah,
only an hour a day starting point.
7 hours a week just talking. Man, they've been giving me the bag for real.
100%.
Nah, I'm definitely. I have no problem talking.
Word. But yeah, man, we here. Therapy Without a Degree. We are back in fucking action. Last week was really, really dope. Last week we talked about ghosting. We talked about gaslighting. I gaslit everyone that ghosts people. And Zane was just here looking at me like I was crazy. But it's all good, man. We had that conversation. It's real stuff. We're not gonna front out here. We're not gonna give you, a little laggy dag podcast. Tell you how we really feel. All right. But we'll talk about a little bit more of that later. We'll get more into a little bit more of the ghosting and the gaslighting things that we had on our minds. Me and this guy last night, we saw Scream 2022. All right. I saw it the day it came out, of course, because y'all know I'm a stan. And if you don't know, I'm a stan. This guy got to see it last night. You know what I'm saying?
That shit was crazy. I enjoyed it.
What do you give it a 1 out of 10? We're not going to give it a full review because this is
I know what you gave it.
Yeah, I gave it a 7.
Me wise for this film. If you gave it a 7, you already know what I'm gonna give it. I can't give it anything but a 7. I might just have to give it a 7 too. I'm not gonna give it a 6. I'll give it. You know what? I'll give it a 7.5.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5 only because they came back after a long time from 4, and then they did this movie.
Yeah.
Like 4 was like
10 years. It was 10 years.
It was 10 years. In 10 years, they still gave you that same vibe. And they even better than 4. And I felt like I would give it a 7.5. I would have gave it an 8 if they didn't. Well, if there were certain scenes. I won't say anything, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no spoilers on this one. We are gonna do maybe we'll get Zane on like a Jersey Media thing. We'll do a little review. You know what I'm saying? Because we could be doing some fire reviews, bro. We might have to just drop therapy altogether. Just do film reviews.
Just like therapy with a movie review.
Therapy with a movie review at the end, yo. Now, if we had time, and we were getting paid for this, that's what we would do. We would
look that up.
We would do the pod and we do movie reviews at the end.
So be it.
You would get me to watch film. I would watch film because we have to review it on here.
And then I would be sitting there like, oh God, here we go.
Here
Because
we
like
go.
I watch a lot of movies, so it's gonna be funny you reacting.
Cause yeah,
You gotta be open minded with these movies, man. 'Cause
nah,
some
a
of
lot
them,
of this shit is trash, bro.
nah, man, you gotta be open minded, man. Because like that's the only way you're gonna enjoy it, man. If you're not open minded, every movie's gonna be trash. So you gotta be open minded to the point where it's just like, I see where they were going.
Nah, man.
Don't try to compare it to like the major movies. It's just
the
not
90s?
fair. No, not the 90s. Just like say if there's like a good movie that's out, like the best movie out, right? Don't compare it to that. Just let it be its own.
It's hard for me to do that, man.
Because everything has its own flavor.
It's hard for me to do that. It's hard.
Especially foreign films. Because like if you watch foreign films, that's completely different over here. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be open minded.
I'm spoiled, man. I'm fucking spoiled. I grew up with fucking.
That might change the way you film. That changed the way I film. I actually watching more, like you're gonna start to see more influence in my work, and you can be like, where is this coming from? That's why it's been so unique. I've been studying not
international
just
stuff.
international movies. Yeah.
No, I am more open to it, and I'll probably say I thank you to that, because like also I would have never ever thought that I would have like actually enjoyed certain short films, but now I do watch like some shorts here and there, and I'm like, yo, nah, that was really really good, and I'm enjoying it more now, because sometimes like I won't sit there for an hour and 20 minutes and I won't watch a full movie, right. But I watch it 10. Like I really enjoy, like you said that was a music video, but shout out to Anka and Alex. I thought that was a short film, and I really enjoyed like that length. It was like 7 minutes or something like that, and it was really really good. But let's not get into it, because we're just gonna do a whole movie podcast.
You always do that. You always you're like leading me into this whole movie.
Get you in.
I was just like, you want me not to say anything? I was like, I won't say anything,
because you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we're gonna get trapped, so that's why I'm not gonna invest in this conversation. That's what's happening.
So he gives it a 7.5. I give it a 7. Go see Scream, people. All right. What else, man? Fucking.
Maybe that could be our intro.
What? A movie review?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like we just have to pick a movie and then just go on a Google Doc and just like write a comment on it.
It depends, man. It depends on how long you're willing to sit here. I mean just
real quick. I'm just saying like a real quick,
like what we just did. We just did.
Yeah, what we just did. Like the first 2-3 minutes,
like a basic review.
A basic review.
All right.
And then it's like, go you either watch it or you don't. Is it a bop or not? And then Joe says it's a bop. Phil says it's not. You know.
Yeah, we could do something like that.
That's it.
I'm with something.
And then
and
it leads into the you want the full.
Yeah, you want the full review,
Mm-hmm.
because like I have a good 10 minutes for Scream. So like when it depends on the film, you know. It also depends on how invested you are, you know. But some movies I can get into. Last thing, they gave your movie It Follows a shout out.
I know. That was awesome. Because I told you that movie was fucking wild. I don't think you understand.
And I was surprised that humans even saw that film.
Oh my God.
So when they said It Follows,
bro, that movie is very haunting.
I think I heard someone else say that in a film recently. So like, yo, there's other people out there like saying,
yeah, that's a cult classic right now.
A cult classic?
Yes.
Where's the cult?
It's a cult classic, bro. That movie came out, I think, 2018 or so. Or maybe even, I forgot what year that came out. And it took me a while to watch it. And then I don't know why I watched it. Because
I don't know why either.
This shit's crazy.
But, all right, man. So other than that, I went to Ohio, right? So I went out there with one of my good friends. Had a good time. It was inspiring. And yeah, that was pretty dope. Fucking got to be out there, got to hit another state that, you know, never hit before. So that's always cool. What state do you want to go? Like any random state that you really want to visit?
Seattle.
Why?
It just sounds.
You look like a Seattle guy.
Nah, that's where Starbucks started.
Oh.
Plot twist.
And you would know that.
I would know that.
You would know that. Okay.
It started in Seattle. So for some reason, just the word Seattle, I don't know.
Do you think it rains a lot over there, like they say it does?
I think
they say.
To me, I think they do. Yeah, it does rain a lot over there. But to me, rain puts me to sleep. Like rain is cool for me. Like I'd be cool with rain.
Okay.
You know,
it was raining ridiculous last night after we got back.
Yeah, it was an adventure actually. When I got back.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, wasn't I right?
Yeah, you're right. I was like, thank God, because
I know. I was
gonna stay inside. I was like, Joe, you got
pod alone. Set the zoom up. Nah, I looked at the weather, man. I'm pretty good at that shit. I was like, it was weird because it doesn't really do that. It doesn't really get warmer overnight. And I always look at the temperature because I hate the cold and I hate the weather. So in the wintertime, you could like go to Joe for like the weather. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can kind of go to me for the winter, because in the wintertime, I hate this shit. But anyway, also today, right? So we are recording this the day before you are listening to this, Monday, January 17th. We dropped the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I'm going to give a little round of applause for us for fucking doing that shit, because that shit was fucking fire, wherever the fuck my gunshots are.
Trailer. You got some motion. Were you able to put it with the premiere?
I didn't get there yet because of other stuff that we still have to do. So that is there on. It's not on YouTube yet. Probably tonight, after I go over a couple things with you. That is there. Other than that, yeah, man, we dropped that. We're gonna be dropping the very first episode on the 21st, and we will be announcing this week, towards the end of the week, as we get close to the actual Friday, we'll be announcing the streaming platforms that it's on. A lot of hard work, yo. So shout out to everybody. Like I said again, like we said last week, shout out to everyone that was a part of that. Everyone that's sharing the trailer today. Everyone that's, dropping it, giving it some love. Thank y'all. Everyone was hitting us like, yo, did y'all do a horror movie, or did you like did you think our drama was not going to be like that real?
It's so dramatic. It's scary.
That's
gonna be the slogan.
Yeah, they're like,
so dramatic. It's scary.
Yo, for real, man. Don't let us make a fucking drama. Like, nah, that should get you scared out here.
Right.
Also, today is Martin Luther King Day, right? And I don't know. I feel like when we were kids, they used to throw his name around a lot. But they never really, taught us about him.
Of course not. For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So, at this point, now people have the opportunity, have the platform to elaborate what has been missing for many years. I call that progression.
Yeah. Because, for you, what did you feel like you got from it, from school? Like, what did you feel like that they talked about when they talked about with him?
Usually, my mom kept me home. On Martin Luther King Day. So I never was in school when those would happen. It was high school. They were being assholes about it. They would make testing on that day.
Are you serious?
I shit you not, at the high school. So you had to be there, and it was, I don't know if it was like midterms. I think it was like around like midterms or something like that. But it was like a major test, whatever it was. And they made it on that day, so you had to go to school.
That's so trash.
On that day. I was like, wow. I don't think I went to school anyway. My mom definitely took me home. Yeah, I stayed home, and I just had to make it up, and then that was it. But it counted as an absence. I was like, I don't care. Like,
yeah, because
usually they
recently started giving people off for that day, right?
Yeah, recently. Like, it wasn't like, oh, it was there. Like when we were going to school, it wasn't like that. So. But I wasn't there till when teach, and then they had people coloring, they had connect the dots and whatnot, and they said kid stuff. But they never really talked about the whole thing, especially in high school. Never elaborated on it. It was kind of like, all right, we're gonna talk about pilgrims for the 50th thousandth time or whatever it is, just like a whole process. But other than that, I just learned on my own and on what he had done for the community and civil rights movement. I had to learn that on my own. My mom made me read books since elementary school.
Oh yeah.
On Malcolm X, on the first black tennis player. Who else other than Malcolm X? Yeah, pretty much anything just the unsung heroes. Yeah, just unsung heroes. I would have these. It would be kids' books, and eventually she would up the age, and then those are the books I would watch. So. She made sure that I knew,
That was good.
But there's I could drop a whole knowledge thing on certain people and whatnot. But Martin Luther King, he was one of many powerful leaders, powerful activists that had to be a pacifist to show change.
Yeah.
That's tough because Malcolm X wasn't having it. It's we tried it your way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We gotta physically put in action. And as I got older, I agreed more with Malcolm X. And then, but it is very tough, and it does take a lot of courage and strength to be passive, to make change, and he was doing that just as not even just for the black community. He was just doing that in general. The message was being passive and trying to find some common ground verbally and communicate, opposed to just going straight to violence and separating.
Exactly.
It was like there was a core message to it, you know. And you know, sacrifice was made, but like when you have that type of ideology that you try to spread to the world, you end up disappearing or end up dead. You know? So but he made a sacrifice so others could also spread the word too. So it was never in vain. So he was able to touch a lot of people's lives, and they always mention his name year by year. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was an important figure that people were inspired enough to you know, follow his teachings, you know? And it's made a lot of people, you know, it was something to build on, because there was not a lot of black role models that were publicly portrayed on TV. And
especially back then.
Especially back then, especially in the late 60s. Before that, you know, it was just like, nah, we're not putting that on TV. Like, there was no one to look after. There was no, so at this point, you were just looking who your father was, and if your father was in jail, then you had no male role model. It was like a trickling effect that just broke the community.
It's wild that our like parents and our grandparents had to live through that.
We're living through some stuff now. Like, it went. So we went from, and we still go through colored type of separation, but not as serious. But now we're going through science separation, such as who's vaccinated, who's not vaccinated. That's a whole other separation. Like, you thought we were getting great with the killing the races. We're at a point where a lot of people are just like, that's disgusting. Like, why are you doing that? There's no need for that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it sounds like racism is like quiet, but it's not really. It's just that there's a louder voice of, we're not doing that shit no more. Yeah. That's what's going on. And now, but now it's like, all right, we need more separation. Let's do, you know, people who are vaccinated and people who are not vaccinated. People wearing masks, people don't wear masks. And that's what this generation is now. This
generation's now going through it.
Yeah, so.
Well, what I meant was not, because obviously, you know, I know it's always there, but I mean just of how predominant, like, it was, and you know how much, like, how tough, obviously this era is tough too, but even that era during those times, how hard that was. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Like if you were white, you could not be with a black woman. If you were a black man, you could not be with a white woman. Like, it was like imagine, like, you know what I'm saying? Love is like a core thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Love is not looking for, oh, you got to be this color, you got to be this color. That has not. So imagine that love trying to connect, and then you're like, nah, y'all can't connect because of the color of your skin. Yeah. That's wow. And then to try to assimilate to what they say, and then separate. You know what I'm saying? Or you have to love in secret. Like, that's just fucking nuts, fucking man. Stupid, man. It's nuts. Like, that's saying, like, oh, you wear that black shirt, you love wearing that black shirt, man. I can't hang out with you when you wear that black shirt. Like, that makes absolutely no sense. No sense. So I just feel like what you start seeing how people in the generation, how they look at people today, and they're still holding on to that perspective because they've already been affected by it, and I've been affected by it. It's like, it makes you, it's in the back of your head. Like, oh, everything all cool, but don't let your guard down. That's pretty much what it is. It's like, we're on point. Like, don't let your guard down, because don't be surprised. It's like, don't be surprised. Don't let your guard down. Like, that shouldn't even be a factor. Yeah. You know, like, every time you hear something on the news or something, blah blah, it's like, oh, I'm not surprised. And like, what? Like, you know, it's just like what you see on the media portray. Like, if you portray more good things on the media, such as, oh, you should treat people like this and blah blah, then people would be much different. You know, especially we're talking main news,
mainstream, to where
mainstream, not like, oh, this is someone you need to look out for, and they'll leave that shit there. Yeah, keep repeating it on TV. Eventually, that stopped for a while. That stopped. They used to do that, and then they stopped, because that was when more activists were like, yeah, you're leaving a picture of someone that looks like an obscure picture that looks like all of us, and you're saying constantly, don't interact with that person. Yeah, that's a problem.
And that's what all these media people do, and people don't understand. Right. they don't understand that all that shit is just brainwashing people.
Right.
And they go to that for their fucking news.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking crazy.
Because they believe that, why would they put it on TV? They wouldn't lie to us. They're thinking the news has not been bought out. And there's no evidence to prove that.
Yeah, but
because
it's been,
you'll get disappeared. That's how.
But if you really look into it and you really do your research, like they control fucking everything. Like even what they fund,
what you speak on, what you post on,
who they're funded by, everything. If we really get into it, but man, Martin Luther King, man, it was always really from the core, and it really had to do a lot with love. Actually, one of the first quotes I wrote down here was, I put darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love could do that. And obviously, in school, like you said, it was the same thing. It was very, very whitewashed, and they mentioned them because I guess they felt like they had to at one point. So it was like, you knew that he made predominant change, right?
Right.
But you didn't really get to know who he was. I feel like at his core,
Right.
That's, I think, what was really, really lacking. Like, okay, they said the things he did, whatever. And it was like, okay, that was great. But also you didn't really get to know who he was as a man, who he was as like a father, who he was as a, like you said, as an activist and in the community and all those different things. And I probably didn't learn about that. And I'm still learning, you know what I'm saying? But probably until really like in my late 20s, because I follow Eric Thomas. So Eric Thomas would talk a lot about Martin Luther King, and he would bring him up a lot. And then he would, talk about quotes and say different quotes and different things like that. And for me, through my own journey of like, going through, getting out of the darkness and going through mental health and all that, a lot of times I would stumble upon a lot of these like quotes and shit. And I would stumble upon a lot of his beliefs. And it was like, wow, like you got to really see like who the man was. You know what I mean? And it's a very simple aspect because it's a quote at the end of the day. But like little things you could just really feel. Like, you ever read something and you could feel that shit? You could feel that fucking emotion from that person.
Right.
Because you could be like, yo, like, fam, for you to say that, for you to say darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light could do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love could do that. Like for you to understand that the power of love, like love is, I say it all the time, love is like one of the most powerful things in the fucking universe. You know what I'm saying? And for you to be, and the times that he had to go through and everything that he had to deal with, for him to still love,
Right.
And for him to still like want to shed the light on how important love is and all that, just shows a lot. It shows a lot of your character. And to me, that's really what it is at the end of the day, is character, So that's what I just wish that they would have showed more of, and then I would wish that they would have spoke on more back in the day in school and education systems and stuff,
Perhaps they needed to just evaluate the whole outline, the whole system on how it's being taught. Be like, all right, if we're going to talk about this person, this is kind of like the outline criteria to get to know who that person is, instead of what they did. There's a lot of what they did, but not who they were.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of avoidance on who they were and just only speak
Focusing
about
on what
they did.
Yep.
Because if you find out who they were,
then you're going to, exactly. And we already know there's a lot of circumstances in the history books that is like that.
Right.
And it's like, at the same time, I get when people say, actions speak louder than words.
Right.
And it is about the things that you do. However, characters is like super important at the end of the day. Like I was talking with you about this with something else about last night. I'm like, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's cool with what's being done. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm at a point in my life, I'm not getting out of bed unless your character is on point. You know what I'm saying? For that person. And his character, man, like just like, I'm so super interested. Like there's a documentary. I think it's on Netflix. It's on somewhere. It's a really good documentary. I started watching it a little bit, and I don't even be watching on TV, but it was a documentary that was recommended. They were talking about a Joe Budden podcast, a really, really interesting documentary about how they were really like just fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, and like they were really just trying to like, get his messages to not be heard, and it's a very real, raw documentary. So it's It's out there somewhere, so you could just try to find it. It's,
we'll post it in the bio or the description.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And then some of his other quotes that I wanted to highlight was, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And I think that's so powerful. You know what I'm saying? Again, for someone to understand that that's an important thing about what are you doing for others and not just doing for yourself. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's major. You know what I'm saying? For you, I think you are a big advocate of that as well too, about what are you doing for others?
Yeah.
Where did you feel you picked up that from?
Like learning from others, or what you can do for others?
What you can do for others. Like, where did you feel like, did you pick that up, you think, from, was it family? Was it you maybe wanting people to do it for you?
I think it was friends, honestly. Most of my family is in New York, so I don't really interact as often. So in terms of friends, as I got older, I didn't really hang out until like high school, like outside of school.
Yeah.
I just went home and I would have like in school friends. Like school was like work to me. Okay. And I just went to work, and then these like the classmates were like coworkers. Like you don't really hang out with your coworkers. Yeah. And then when I got to high school, that's when I was hanging outside of school. And then when I started to work, that's when I started to like, I was working with a lot of older people. So they were kind of like parting on dropping knowledge. And I was never the person that just kind of pushed it out. The only time I would push it out is if you were being disrespectful. If you were trying to impart knowledge on me disrespectfully, I wouldn't listen to you. Yeah. But if you did it in a very respectful way, I would take it into consideration, and then I would jot that down.
Yeah, take it with a grain of salt.
Take it with a grain of salt, and then kind of go from there. It was never like saying like, oh, you need to do more for other people. It was not to me. It was more so like just in general, like as you get older, especially when a lot of them had kids. So they used to say that they were never someone to, not that they weren't, but they learned a lot about themselves by giving to others. And then they were saying like, a kid will really humble you. Having a kid will humble you. Oh, yeah. And then they used to say certain things and whatnot. Me having, I have a small dog now, and he's like, how I've been kind of raising him is just like I see a little bit of like what I could have been as a parent. So you have time to modify, and learning that what you can do for others, like what I'm doing for Ace is I don't expect anything back. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing what I can do for him without having like, oh, I gotta do this. You know what I'm saying? Like I genuinely feel great about doing it. And I think also there's gratitude. You can see it in dogs and whatnot. They're happy that you do things for them and whatnot. So I feel like the more I do more when people show gratitude. I think that's what it is. But I'm not looking for the gratitude, but the people who show me gratitude, they get more of it. Okay. Okay. That's it. Yeah.
So then you would say just over time, probably like your through like your young adulthood, like that's probably where you picked up from the most. And then especially now you notice it, with the dog. And then you're right. When you do it with the dogs, like, they can't do anything back. You know what I mean? So you do it for them, and it's like you're just doing it for them. You're not looking for anything in return.
And they might be doing stuff that maybe you don't see as they're doing it. Like maybe like, I'm gonna be up more and be at the door and bark at anybody who comes. Like I feel like that's them doing their part. And then we're just like, oh, they're just barking at the door. But then they're like, no, he fed me, so I bark.
Yeah. He's protecting.
I'm protective. And he was doing that this morning. My mom came to check up on me. He ran up in the door, and he was barking at the door. But obviously he knew who she was. But it was just funny because he was just kind of like, he woke up from his nice slumber and went at the door, and then he looked at me just to make sure I was good. And then he was like, all right, and then went back to bed. Yeah. I was like, wow.
He was just doing his deed.
He was just doing his thing. He's like, all right, I was just checking if you heard, because you kind of, not moving. So I figured, let me take out actions.
Shout out to Ace, man.
Shout out to Ace. You can follow him on Instagram. Ace the Traveling
Ace
Dog.
The Traveler.
Oh, no, Ace the Traveler. Ace the Traveler.
I got you, sir. For me, I think, honestly, I don't even know if this is like, I think the real way, because I'm a very strong believer in that. What are you doing for others, right? Anyone that knows me. But I think the real reason why I kind of picked up on that is maybe I was always thinking like, I saw life as you should treat others how the way you would want to be treated, right? You know what I'm saying? I've always lived by that. I said that on the podcast. The first one we got back on 214, treat others how you would want to be treated, right? And I think as a kid and stuff, I just wasn't happy on how I was being treated. And a lot of times it wasn't even just me. It was just, maybe my family, maybe my mom, or maybe how people were treating my mom or how people were treating her. Just how people, my surroundings. I was just noticing as I was getting older, from a young kid, like 8 years old, 9, 10, 11, 12, early teens, I just didn't like how I was being treated, how my mom was being treated, how a lot of us was being treated. And I was just like, yo, like you should, like they deserve better. You know what I'm saying?
Only when you were treated unfairly that you realize, like, I don't want anybody else to feel like that.
Yeah, I never want anyone to ever feel like that. Like I guess when you're so hurt and you're so fucking just like not treated the way you feel like you should be treated. To me, like I said, other people take that other ways. I took it as I don't want people to ever feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could you do that? So I've always learned from me, if I could do something, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is how I live my life. Like for me, it's so embedded in my blood that it's kind of even hard to explain, because I don't understand how people could not see that. I mean, I get different reasons. People are jaded, people get hurt and all that type of stuff. So there's a lot of things that come with it. Like that's a topic for like a whole fucking day. But at the end of the day, it's like, yo, and as I started getting older, because that was when I was young, I was like not liking how, I was being treated, like with friends and, kids in school or my mom. I didn't like it. Right. So I'd question it and I'd be like, no, we got to, treat people good. But then as I got older, I started to notice and realize, how much change you could really do for someone and the world at the same time, your community, whatever, by just doing the things you could do. You know what I'm saying? Why not? Like if you could do it, why not? Like I'm just like, if you could do that, why not? Like people always want to play mind games and this and that, and it's like, nah, I don't got time for all that. Life is short, man. So then there was another quote he had, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase.
Yeah, that's pure faith, but you have to. That's a tough thing to even tell others, because you're painting a picture and their eyes are closed and they don't see the picture. Yeah. Like this picture is a masterpiece, but you're showing them in the dark. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then you're telling them to go find the light. We'll find the light. We'll find the light, and then you'll see that this is a masterpiece. Yep. It's tough to really kind of advertise, like to convince someone to have faith on your project. You know what I'm saying? But that I've figured out a system, a formula.
What is it?
What do they want? It's just business. Like it's like a psychological business. Like what do they want? If you want whatever you want, Joe, if I said, Joe, what do you want? And you're like, I want $1 million. Okay, so I'm going to give you $1 million, and this is what I want you to do. Obviously, you have every right to not take the deal, but I'm giving you what you want.
Exactly.
And then but I don't make you wait for what you want. I give you what you want. That's it.
But I don't know if there's really much faith in that, because you just gave that person, you know what I mean? Like there's not, I think that faith comes from the unknown, It's only like, listen, there's people that you have to give them the action first before you could do it. It could only be maybe 1 or 2 times. And then after that, they know. Like, for example, if I consistently gave you like $1 million every single time, if I say, yo, man, I don't have the money to give you $1 million, I done gave you $1 million like 7 other times. Yeah. You're not going to be like, no, bro, it's all right. I got you. You could take as much time as you can, because you know that the money's coming. But if you don't
If you don't do those few times, then
They're
how
not
would they
gonna
know?
Exactly.
You know, and it could be little things like, hey, do you need help like moving things?
Yeah.
Like you got to show, you have to build a relationship by being reliable and helpful to the person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, hopefully, based, you know, it's not going to be a guarantee. Then it's like, you know, I'll help you out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not going to work if it's a stranger and you're going to tell a complete stranger
To have faith.
But what did you do to them for them to have that faith? Like they always, especially like for people who do music, right? They always want to like give the producer, like, oh, yo, we're going to move together. Or any videographer. And they're like, we're not trying to hear all that. But if you pay us, right?
Yeah.
We know that you're serious.
Yeah.
So if you tell us that story after you pay us, we're going to be like, all right, okay,
Yeah.
I could run with that. You know what I'm saying? Because you gave us what we want, and what we want was we need to get paid because we have bills to pay.
Yeah.
Or we have we something that we need. It might not even be money.
Yeah.
It's like you have to give us what we need, and then we'll give the faith.
Then you'll have there.
Then you'll have, and then some people, you know, then there's the blind faith. There's faith, and then there's the blind faith. The blind faith is what you're mentioning, where you just, I just do it. I don't even know the person. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
This person needs help. You don't know if they're the
Just
killer.
do it, yeah.
You know, I'm just helping them.
Exactly.
That's blind faith. But faith, you have to have something, because usually people in their lives they have gone through a miracle, and it's like that miracle alone was that helped them have faith.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think for the most part, faith has to come from like pure faith. I think is things that people get on their own, like on their own time. You know, it's the things that happen to you that, like you surviving that car crash, or you know what I'm saying? Like those things like that.
What you wanted was life, and then you were able to get it.
Yeah, you were able to get life, and it's like sometimes I think it's those things on your own that maybe you don't even like have a communication with somebody other than just your internal thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I think it's that. I think that's when you really build faith. You know what I'm saying? Like you building faith of like, yo, you know, I'm going to get this job. And you having that belief. And then you get that job. Like you didn't have to say anything to nobody. You didn't, you know, you just believed, you know? So I think that's where like it really comes from, you know? Because it's like, okay, you know, we could practice a form of faith with each other. Like you said, okay, you know what, give them this. And then I think that's more like a relation building. You know what I mean? Like having just to kind of believe that they're not going to bullshit you.
That's exactly what it is. And it needs to be some type of action. Like there's no way around it. Like it doesn't have to be money. It could be anything. It just has to be what they want. They might just want, I don't want money. I just want someone to be here on Tuesday for me for this hour. And then you show up. And then and then when you ask them, they're not obligated to do what you ask them. But if they do, and you ask them, hey, you know, I'm trying to do this. I don't have the means now. But they know you've been consistent with me doing things that I wanted. But now that person has the choice to do something or not, because they're not obligated to do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because some people, they go about their life thinking, I'm going to give you this, that, and the third. And they feel like they're obligated to get that. They're entitled. I'm entitled. I did this. I should get this. That's not how it works. It's just not. It's better when the person comes at their own. Not by any type of manipulation to get them there. And they need to come there by their own. And then when they do that, then you'll get their full help. Not, I'm only here because I have to be here. So that when I have to do that means I give you a limit of what I can do. If I come on my own, I give you an unlimited amount.
100%.
Because there's no limit.
Yeah.
You know?
You're just giving you all.
Right. They give their all because they know what limit they're going to give. But if they're there by force or feel obligated, they're like, I'm going to only give you this much time or this much energy.
Yeah. And then that'll cause you to not have that much faith in them.
Exactly.
You know? So, yeah. I see. That's an interesting take on it. I think I always would have thought that was called something else and not really faith. But I see your point. So it's good to have that to see that perspective, because everyone has a different perspective on actually what what faith really is. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. So that's dope. And then he says, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you got to do, you got to keep moving forward. And we already know, we talk about that a lot on this podcast. You know what I'm saying, about moving forward and just keep just doing it no matter fucking what. But that just shows, again, his character about who he was and who he was, because even in his journey, like, yo, you know how many times he probably got knocked down?
That's the hardest thing. It's getting back up and getting knocked down, and it's just having the strength and the courage and the faith to get back up again, because you know, by me doing this is me helping the people behind me.
Yeah,
I have to move. I'm moving an inch forward so that way people in the back could be an inch forward. You know what I'm saying? And you just gotta keep pushing, because you know you have the strength. If you know you have the strength to really push the line forward, then and you actually start doing it, you're giving your all, essentially. You're giving it your all. Yeah. But if you know that you can and you don't, then you just like, all right, man, well, this gift is gonna be given to somebody else. I don't know.
Somebody else, exactly.
Someone else is gonna use it. I mean,
that's gonna get up,
and you might not even lose it. You might have it until you're older in life, and then you're like, you know what? Now I want to use it. I should have been able to use it sooner, but now I'll use it now, and that's perfectly fine. There's never, like they say, it's never too late. You know, just like it's never too late to apologize. You know, people might apologize. It took them 20 years. That's fucking a long ass time. But look at Will Smith and I forgot her name. It's Hubert something. I forgot her name. But Vivian from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the original.
Oh, okay, yeah, he apologized to her.
He apologized, and that was a whole big thing. And her main question was, why did it take so long? That she caught herself. You're like, you know, I get it. There's no time limit, but like, why?
Yeah, like that was
a long time, man. That was a long time, man. So it was just like, I think it was like 25 years or something like that. Well, it
was like, you know what? Fuck you, man. I got famous. He seemed like he don't give a fuck about nobody.
I honestly think he didn't know how to do it. I don't think he knew how to do it, and that's tough.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that like, yo, apologize, but then their way of apologizing is very aggressive.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's like no one that knows how to. On the average, not everybody knows how to properly apologize. If you would ask 10 people, you'd be like, "Damn, that's how you apologize." Yeah. God damn.
And it's also because there's 3 sides to every story.
Right.
You know, there's 3 sides to every story. So at the end of the day, it's like sometimes, you know, there's different sides that we don't see. You know, there's the side that we see in the public and the media. And there's also the side from the other person. And then there's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So, and then he got another quote. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. And I love that quote. We've said that quote here on this podcast before. But man, it is the truth. Man, it's the truth. And for him to see that and him to like put that together, you know what I'm saying? For him to be able to put that together and really understand that, yo, that means he had to be going through it, dog. Like he had to be going through it.
Yeah, it takes you down a very just dark path sometimes, and then you have to, and you're in there quietly, and then eventually you find the light by yourself, because there's gonna be times where you're like, yo, fuck it, someone else will take care of it. Yeah. That's what you're fighting every day.
Like I could just, you know,
like I'm the lead. Life. Everybody's looking for me for advice. Everybody's looking to me, but then there's days I'm sure he said like, you know what, fuck it, someone else will take care of it. Or I'll do this until someone else comes close to my caliber, and then I'll just let them do it. And then I'm just gonna pass the torch, because, like, yeah, you're number one, but then when you're number one for too long, you're like, yo, I want a break. There's too many eyes on me. I can't even do normal shit.
Yep. No, yeah, because he got to that point where he couldn't do nothing.
No, nothing. Like, I'm gonna put you under a microscope. Like, did he steal that? Did he pay money for that?
Everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it just really shows like that. Damn, like he must have caught himself in one of those moments. And was like, nah, I'm still keep going because this is the true. This is who I am. At the end of the day, if I crumble and I don't move forward in this, and I just say this is all I'm going to be, that's who I am at the end of the day.
Right.
Not all that other shit I was just talking, because this is, you know what I'm saying? Like, life is always going to happen. So I just think that quote is always super, super impactful, and it's so super true, yo. Like, if you ever really want to, like, just check your circle around you and just to make sure you're around the right people, and, you know, women, even in dating, like, I pay attention to that shit all the time. I pay attention how people react to a fucking flat tire. I see how you react when, you know, your kid's acting up. I pay attention to how all that shit, how just when challenge happens, and just like when those just conflict happens, you see how people are, and that's when you really see their true character. And that's why it says the ultimate measure of a man, but it's really, you know, the ultimate measure of a human, man or woman. And the ultimate measure, it's like that true character of who they truly are. You know what I'm saying? Because people will show you who they are in those times of controversy and challenge. They'll show you who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you'll see. And it takes time, because we're all develop and we all, you know, go through things, and we're growing and we're having our tough times and shit. But, like, you want to see how someone really, really, truly is, yo, watch them go through the mud. Watch them go through some hurt. And you'll see who they are at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And not to judge them, but to see if that's someone that you want to be around. Because you never know. That might be okay with you. You know what I'm saying? There might be someone get a flat tire and they're bitching and screaming. That don't bother you. Because everything's not going to bother everybody. So I'm not saying it's wrong or right. But at the end of the day, if that's something that bothers you, if you're like, yo, that's not the type of person that I want to be around, then you know. You know what I'm saying? But that's the ultimate time to see how people are, is really during challenge and controversy. So, like, for him, when he was going through it, or his wife was going through it, his kids were going through it, he could really see who they are, you know?
Right.
So just wanted to just shed some light on some of those, because I thought they were super impactful, man. And really kind of like digging into all those, you really get to see like the true man he was. And, you know, it inspires me to learn more, because I'm, you know, very uneducated on him, on, you know, certain things, but it's inspiring to just want to just dig into his life just to see, you know what I'm saying? Because there's not many people out like that, in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's that, man. What else? Because we had last week, we were talking about the ghosting and the gaslighting, right?
Right.
So we got into a lot of it. I went off. Was there anything else that you kind of wanted to touch on with those topics before we?
I mean, what it really is like, I'm gonna ask you questions if you've encountered these, but it's really just if you chime in, you could chime in. But
okay.
There's like 10 signs of gaslighting behaviors. I'm gonna list them, and then I'll just ask you questions.
Okay.
So, of the 10 signs, first one is blatant lies. Second is deny. Third is using what you love against you. 4 is losing your sense of self. 5 is words versus actions. 6 is love and flattering. Confusion is number 7. 8 is projecting.
Hold on, you said love and flattering?
Love and flattering. 7 is confusion. 8 is projecting. 9 is you're crazy. And 10 is everyone else is a liar. Now, reading this, it's very scary when you meet someone that has more than 2 or 3 of these.
Yeah.
Because one of them alone is already a problem. To have 3 or more is get the fuck out.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
nah, dog.
Like the lying part, like everybody lies, so it makes it difficult to kind of filter out who the fuck is who's gaslighting you or not.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? People tell white lies all the time. People tell lies. So usually if that's like it's that one it's there, but you could like, how do you find something else to really figure out? Like they deny what you said after you proved it to them. Like I could be like, yo, Joe, the sky is blue. And you're like, no, the sky is red. Like I'm showing you countless amount of proof. It's kind of like arguing with a flat earther. That's pretty much what it is. Like they're in denial, but they're just like, you're telling them about like the relationship. Like, yo, you always be yelling at me. Like, yo, when have I ever yelled at you? Literally all the time. You know what I'm saying? And then they constantly denying that they do that, and you have proof even in video, and they just like, oh, that you thought that was me. You thought that was me loud. That wasn't even me loud. That was loud to me, and I was telling you it was loud.
Shit, I've been there recently.
Right? And then using what you love against you, essentially like manipulation, causing the person to question themselves and things that hold close. Like I guess, for example, if a person loves their job, the gaslighter will find issues with it. They have children, the gaslighters will make them believe that they shouldn't have had them, and that they're a poor parent. Like they get into your fucking skin and make you question what you love, because the whole point is to break you down, so the only person that's building you up is them. Exactly. And they build you how they want you to be for them. Yeah. You know, that's pretty much the whole process. Like losing your sense of self, like they'll be the victim over and over again, and they become someone different. Yeah. And you're just like, who am I with right now?
Yeah, what's going on here?
What's going on? Words versus actions. These are the people who be like, I'm not going to be late, or I'm not going to do whatever it is that they're doing, right? That's clearly a problem for the relationship. Exactly. And you know what they do? They do it again. And then they say the same thing over and over. You see it in movies all the time. Like, yo, listen, I'll change. And it's always like a relationship, and then they end up doing the gambling again. They end up doing that again. And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to take money out of your purse anymore. And it's like, you still doing that, you know? And they, in their head, it's for the greater good, but they told you not to do that to them, and you constantly
just
do
it. Yeah, didn't even pay attention.
Didn't pay attention. Love and flattering. This one is dangerous. Number 6 is dangerous. This is when they love bomb you.
They love bombing.
And this is confused with being supportive. Things that you always wanted, things that you're missing from the average people who's supposed to support you, they fill that in because they know not a lot of people are doing that. So if, for example, if people on average give you a 3 out of a 10 for support, they will make sure to give you a 9 or a 10. Okay. They will make sure they give you a 9 or a 10. And you're like, oh my God. They're saying all the right things. They do support, and that's only so that way they could put you.
They can manipulate.
They can manipulate. Of course, you, man. Like they
Sometimes
praise you.
It's like, yo, fam, like, nah, like I look like shit that day.
Right.
You know
they tell you
you
look.
Yep. I get it.
Yeah, they tell you you look good, and then when they tell you look like shit, then they be like, oh, I have to believe him because he told me I look good like 9 times, so I must look like shit, and they make you change that. You know what I'm saying? The confusion, is pretty much they play these mind games. You know what I'm saying? It's a cycle. Like they just constantly making you feel like, oh man, like it's like consistent, inconsistent, like just random shit that they do just to throw you off.
Throw you off on your game.
Just to confuse you. Like, is this really me? Is it like, what's going on? Like, why I feel like, and then they come in like, oh, if I wasn't here, you probably lose your head.
It's like, fam.
Right.
I am waiting for you to get the fuck out of here.
Right. They make it seem like them being there is your sanity. Their presence is what's making you sane. And that's how they kind of mess around you. And then projecting, you see this often where and this one is like fucking nuts. Like they'll be like, if they're feeling sad, they'll be like, why are you always feeling sad all the time? Why are you always sad? You make me sad because you're sad. Yeah. But you're not sad though. But they projecting their sadness, saying that you're sad, and your reaction is making them feel like they're sad. I'm like, good. Just say you're sad.
Yeah, like I'm good over here.
Right. Just say you're sad. You don't have to bring people and say it's them.
That's one thing I hate, man. I hate when people try to tell me how I'm feeling.
Right, and that's projecting. And you'll. This is a very
that shit.
average, common shit that you always see.
I don't like that shit.
It's
Like, fam,
what?
if I was feeling like that, I would fucking tell you. I'm pretty vocal.
Right.
Especially with my people that I'm close with. If I'm not close with you, I don't be telling you shit.
Right.
But if I'm close with you, I'll be telling you usually for the most part what I'm going through.
Right.
Don't try to fucking tell me. Act like, nah, fuck that. Who are you?
Yeah, and then you're crazy.
Yeah.
Like pretty much you bringing them like you're making sane responses, and you're like, listen, this is not a good idea because X, Y, Z. No, you're crazy. You're crazy. I don't, that's not. That don't even make any sense.
Yeah.
What? What are you saying right now? It's because I'm not taking your knowledge as value. Like it's not valid.
Yeah.
And then obviously everyone is a liar. So like no one, you don't believe anyone says.
And all right, so what is the last one? It's everyone is a liar.
Everyone is a liar. Don't believe anybody what they say.
That's what they say to you to gaslight you, right?
Right. Every single time. Like,
okay.
Don't believe anybody but me. That's what it is. Like you get your validation from me.
I'm telling you the real shit, the shit that people don't tell you.
Right. You don't listen to anybody. They're not telling you the truth. I am. I'm the only one. Oh my God. Absolutely nuts, man. And I've recently found out that, not recently, but like after digging deep into it and dealing with like narcissists and gaslighting, that's one of their tactics. Notice how that one gaslighting thing had multiple things?
Yeah, of course.
That's like one of the tactics of
one
a narcissist. So
okay.
I realized I've dated a lot.
You've dated a lot of them, yeah.
A lot. One was too many.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was just that's what I was like, holy shit. So I didn't realize that I was being gaslit, thinking I wasn't doing things I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I was doing them.
Well, there's all levels to things. Like, that's really what I was trying to get at too a little bit the other, like last time, is there's levels to certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some that are just like, okay, you're clearly 1,000% a narcissist.
But no one knows what that is to even determine what it is. And it was never brought up to the point where it was just like.
Well, what I like that we did discuss it, because people though are liking to throw these words around. Excuse me. And people are just throwing these words around because they're new cool words. And it's just like, fam, like sometimes, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not. Do you feel like that at all? Do you feel like people are just using these words just to throw them around a little bit too much?
I feel like they don't understand what it is, and I feel like they're projecting, which is one of the tactics of gaslighting.
So maybe that they.
Yeah, you see that one.
It all goes full circle.
Like I don't say this shit just to say. Like I'd be like it'd be those project. That's why I said there's a lot of people who project.
So maybe the people that are complaining that they're getting gaslit are actually gaslighters themselves.
I believe that. Yes. Absolutely.
So it's like the Spider-Man meme.
Right. Like who's gaslighting who? And once you could break down and understand it, it's better to be like, yo, if once you find out that you have the opportunity to change it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't know what you're doing, you have to break it down. Like what are the tactics of like gaslighting, and see if you've like put a scenario in your head and see how you would respond to it. To them, to see if you would gaslight them. Right. Like, and then you would write down like, oh shit, I was doing this. I was doing this. Shame is part of it too. Shame is putting like, making them feel like that's definitely not a good idea.
Yo, man, imagine if everyone had like these little detectors on them, and you would like, oh, like today I gaslit 20%. Today I gaslit 5%. Today I was a narcissist 80%.
That's crazy. But if we're in the metaverse, that'd be more probable because it could anytime you talk,
everything that you did, exactly.
It'll be like, oh, you said that, like in your cadence on how you said it and your text.
It knows.
Oh man, another blacked out
episode. We're not even high.
Oh man, even better. Another blacked out episode. We can't post this
because in the real life, you would just have to. It would have to be hooked up to your brain.
Right, which is where Tesla's lovely.
Pretty much, yeah, they're pretty much at.
They're pretty much at.
So, if you want to find out if your boyfriend is a narcissist, buy our product for $1.99. Just attach this to their brain and their hip, and you will know how often of the day they are a narcissist. So you can prove to them. I'm saying it's a fucking good ass invention. Someone give me the fucking bag. All right.
Oh my god, yo, we just need to have an account of just ideas that we just throw, and then we'll just have people pay on Patreon.
Of course, bro. Just to fund these ideas.
Just
right?
fund the ideas. And what idea they're gonna drop this week?
That would be an expensive idea, though. But people will buy it, though.
People will buy it, man.
People would buy it. Or what if it was elevated to where like the narcissist pill? You know, people drugging people. Like if I
make someone a narcissist.
No,
or to take it out.
To then just you take the pill, right? So I don't tell you or nothing, right? But it like
it makes you a super empath at that point.
Like the pill reads everything in your system, and then it shows me on an app. Like, oh, okay, today John was a narcissist. I
think that's when the FBI starts knocking on your door, because you just said that it goes into your body and then it sends you
like the
data.
Yes, like the vaccine probably is.
Oh man, guys, it was a great podcast.
This was a great episode.
This is a great episode.
Brought to you by Therapy Without a Degree. I am Zane Studios. Oh fuck. Yeah, they're getting me.
That was a wrap, man.
Right.
You done said, listen, I was trying to help you, and then you went for it, and I was like, don't do it, and you did it. I was trying to warn you.
If we get blinked away, if this episode doesn't come out, you guys know why.
They won't know why.
You can catch us soon. Radio 103.9. Therapy Without a Degree. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in challenge and controversy. We out of here.
Peace.
Peace.